guys, Frank here, your virtual general aviation aviator, and today I am in the de Havilland Beaver. We're up at Dogfish Bay, and we are going to take a flight down to Quatum River. Now, that's a really long flight for a beaver, and as such, um, we can't make the flight in a single um, in a single leg. We're gonna have to stop and get gas. So this video may be broken up into multiple pieces because I am not one that to sit and fly for hours on end. But anyway, so we're at Dogfish Bay, custom scenery, and I'm in X-Plane 11. As you may have known, Thranda has circled back and did some additional work to the Thranda to the Beaver. So yeah, I am anxious to get it in the air, and I can't wait to get it in the air and X-Plane 12. I'm sure that they are in the process of doing whatever they need to do to get it um, F X-Plane 12. So let me get everything situated. All right. So I got everything where it needs to be. All right. So let's get rid of this guy here so we can wobble up some fuel pressure. Let's see. First, we should turn our fuel tank on. Actually, first thing we're gonna do is go through all our settings. Make sure our covers are off. Our engine mode is set to realistic, and our steering is set to realistic. Our belly tank is on because we're gonna need every ounce of fuel that we can get. All right, so all of this is looking really good. These red wheels here mean that our brakes are on. Once they go off, then they become green. And you can see I started to roll. All right, so livery. I am running using a custom livery with a custom, um, what do you call this, tail number. Uh, November 828 Sierra Bravo. And on to weight and balance. Now let's make sure that we got 4 tanks. Let's see. So let's top off uh, every tank that we have, including the belly tank, the mid tank, and top off our rear tanks. And let's put our put me, the pilot, in. Um, put our co-pilot in. Let's pretend she's female because females tend to wear way less. 135, 150 pounds of luggage. Whoops. Yep. And let's have no one in that back seat. Um, we actually got the lift and carrying capability to carry another passenger and another 2 passengers. We're still in that envelope, and let me remove the webcam just so that you can make sure that you can see the envelope and everything that I'm doing here. All right, and our wing tip tanks are 4. So yeah, we've got 4 fuel in every conceivable um, tank because here at Dogfish Bay we we keep this stash of fuel that that we keep in this shed here, and we pull it out and top off as needed, and then we'll have some fuel brought back in um, when have the aircraft configured as a cargo. And I just put my 55-pound barrels of fuel in the back and bring them on up anyway. So that's how I got all this fuel at this destination, in case you really wanted to know. All right, so audio, let's see, let's turn up our master, and I guess everything else is about right. All right, panel, and we are going to use a custom panel. I think I want panel number 7, what I tend to use. Let's see how. There we go. Number 7 gives us our GTN 750. And miscellaneous, we want our tundra tires and mud flaps turned on, our quadrant set to O, and our windows on our outside windows are bubble windows, so that that just gives us just an inch or two more cubic space inside a an extra cubic inches or two of space. All right, so we can get rid of that and hop back in. Let's get started here. All right, so let's turn our fuel tank on our fullest tank. Make sure our brake is set. Let's wobble up some fuel pressure. My fuel pressure gauge is here. All right, so that's what I'm taking a look at. There we go. Here we go. And don't want too much fuel pressure, otherwise we will blow those fuel seals. And we're going to prime it about 5 times. That was 2, 3, 4, and 5. Locked. Okay. So we should be ready to start her up. All right, so we're gonna clear to the right and clear to the left, and let's see, clear prop. All right, so clear prop, and pop this guy open. And turn our max to both. And here we go. We'll help if we turn our master on. All right. So our master is on, and let's go ahead and turn our beacon light on. All right. So we should be sitting here with our beacon light on. Mags are hot. Try this again. Right. All right, we got a good start. And let's go ahead and put our headset on. And let's see, I think there's a screw that I can click on for my headset. If I'm not mistaken, have to find, maybe that's a different aircraft that yeah, that's a different aircraft I'm thinking about. Okay. All right, so that puts on my headset. Go ahead and unfeather prop, and just kind of waiting on our engine temperatures to come up. And so these are fuel. Let's turn our generator on, alternator. All right, I see our alternator is coming up. And let's go ahead and turn our avionics on. Okay. And avionics is alive. Okay. Very good. Let's get in here and take a good peek. Okay, so we got 187.2 gallons of fuel on board, according to our instrument sensors. All right, so while we're waiting on our aircraft to load up, we'll go ahead and put in our flight plan. And uh-oh, what happened here? So let's try this again. All right, so not sure what happened, but let's just prime this guy a couple of times. I got a feeling that we wasn't. Okay, so I want my RPMs around 600. So that's good RPMs. That's good RPMs right there. And let's just look and take a quick peek at oil pressure. So this is oil pressure here. It's in the green. And our fuel pressure is in the green. So, and go ahead and, well, let's leave our props feathered for the time being. Let our engine warm up. All right, and then back to our flight plan, and we'll get that guy from that's not cool. We'll get it from Sky Vector. I think I got one in Sky Vector that I can use. So even though we're at Dogfish Bay, the closest airport that's that our database is in is PGM or Papa Golf Mike. So so we're gonna leave that in, but we're gonna go ahead and put in our waypoints as we need. All right, so Kilo Echo Charlie. So Keki. Let me zoom in a little bit for your benefit. Could pop this out. All right, and then we're gonna go to a VOR, which is Homer, and I could load a Victor Airway, Victor 617. Let's see, 617, Victor 617, and we exit at Joan. At Johnston Point is where we're going to exit. Okay. And then we'll do Victor 319. And we'll exit at Yak. And that's probably as far as we'll get today. Yak attack. And let's see, 112, so that's 130 130. Actually, closer to 140, 153, and yeah, 200 nautical miles. Well, 170 nautical miles rounded. So yeah, that's probably as far as we'll get today. But just in case, yeah, we'll land at Yucatan because we'll definitely need. All right, so go ahead and check out temperatures. Actually, I know this stuff can be hard to see, so let me go ahead and turn up some lights. That should make it easier for you guys to see it. Looks like they're already turned up. Okay, they're coming up a little. Yes, that's better. All right. And I think I'm in real time. So, not even sure what's real time in Alaska. Let's see if it tells me. So it's 16:0. It's 4:01 local, and it's 8:01 here. So there are 4 hours. There's a 4-hour offset. Okay, and what do I have? What's next? Okay, so yeah. All right. And go ahead and unfeather now. And throttle it to about 900 here. All right. And let's turn our taxi lights on, which is our landing lights in this case. And let's close that guy. And we are pretty much ready to go. Let's turn this on altitude reporting. Squat 1200. Set this to our field elevation. And we are gonna set our cruise to 9,500. So we're going east, right? So we're gonna set it to 85. Do 85, and did I say cruise? I meant altitude. Okay, and you guys know what I meant. All right. What's next? All right, so our runway is down here. We'll decide which one we're gonna take once we get to the windsock. And let's release our brake. Dogfish traffic. Beaver 868 Sierra Bravo is taxiing to runway. Taxiing to the runway. Dogfish. See, now should be on 122.9. And let's publish it. 122.9. That's can't change that. All right. 122.9. pop that in. Dogfish traffic, Beaver 828 Sierra Bravo is taxiing to the runway. Dogfish. And she really gets loud whenever we do an external view. So that's just the way it's gonna be. I can actually turn the volume down a touch, so when I do a external view, maybe it won't be as loud. All right. So we got runway 4 and 22. So it looks like looking at the windsock, looks like wind is favoring runway 4. So yeah. Right, find the runway. Overshot it a little bit. Dogfish traffic, Beaver 868 Sierra Bravo is back taxiing runway 04. Dogfish. Maybe 6 and 24. I thought it was well. Okay. So let's go ahead and swing around here and see what we got. Yeah, maybe 6. Yeah, I would say 6 and 24. Dogfish traffic, Beaver 868 Sierra Bravo is departing runway 06, departing to the west. Dogfish. All right. Turn our map on. Let's make sure everything lined up here. All right, so let's just put a quick adjustment on that. And lights. Strobe lights come on. Throw in some takeoff flaps. We are pretty heavy, so we're gonna use all of our takeoff flaps because we're full of fuel. And do it. Now I feel like I'm forgetting something. Let me readjust my field elevation because we know we're not below sea level here. All right. Alright, and we are on our takeoff roll. We're gonna rotate it 60. Alright. 60, rotate. Take out some of these flaps. Keep our airspeed up. Actually, because we're so heavy, we're not gonna go through the cut, but we're gonna stay up over the water. Right, take some flaps off. Got a little stutter going on. Actually, I'm going the wrong way, so let's see if we can swing back this way, because we want to, actually, we have been going the right way. I want to get out over the coast. Isn't the scenery gorgeous? And you can tell the weather is pretty calm because there are no white caps on the water or anything. Right, take out some more flaps. Turn our landing lights off. And we want to go to our east, but I want to get out over the coast before I turn east. All right, 1,500 feet elevation gain. I have walked up a 2,000-foot mountain, and for this old body, it is a slug. All right. All right, so let's pull our manifold pressure back. And once we get all our flaps out, then we'll adjust our manifold pressure to 3080. I'm sorry, 2030. All right. And once we get up over the tops of these mountains, then we'll set our set manifold pressure to 30, RPMs to 20. Trim. And that's where we are gonna keep our engine. It would generate power at this setting for both cruise and climb. So we are heavy, so a 500 foot per minute climb is what we want. And let's pop this guy out. Make sure that we're heading in the right directions. So, yep, we are gonna go turn back towards Homer, but we want to make sure that we can clear the terrain. Let's get rid of this message, and let's turn our terrain, our top terrain feature on, so we can avoid CFIT. CFIT is controlled flight into terrain. That can cause us to have a bad day. We don't want a bad day. Let's see, so let's stay over the water for a minute. If we get to about 4,000. All right, let's get the rest of these flaps out. Retrim. Cut over this, go over the right side of this mountain here. And we're doing good. All right, let's check our instruments. Everything looks good. You may have noticed that I didn't do a run-up, so that was my bad. Get that manifold pressure back up to 30. Trim it out some more for a 500-foot climb. And looks like we are able, we can safely set our autopilot now. Okay. So that our vertical, that our autopilot, our vertical rate to 500, and our nav on, and pick up our course. Make sure our CDI is set for GPS. Okay. And 500 feet per minute. 8,500 feet. All right. Just a mixture a little bit. And 30. And let's check our fuel. So right now we're pulling gas off this front tank here. We started out with the needle right here on 4, so we are churning through the fuel pretty quickly, but that was to be expected. All right, let's take a look. Loud! that's one of the things that I really don't like about the Beaver, in as much as when I go to an external view, all the volumes go off, and that made for an uncomfortable um, amount of engine noise when I'm doing an outside view. But I can live with it. All right. Climbing out at 75. Probably should adjust well, I'm in a slight slip here. Try to get that slip indicator centered. Like I'm picking up my course. Vertical speed 5. And okay, so re-engage nav. Right, so let's adjust the cylinder head temp. And to be honest with you, it's really tough to adjust the cylinder head temp from the mixture. So kind of got to feel the mixture. I really don't have any instruments that's really giving me a good indication of just where my field, just where those temps are. All right, so still climbing at 500 feet a minute. And I'm on an intercept for Homer. So there's Homer. And I am well above terrain, so that's not a concern at the moment. Nice not having terrain being a concern. I hope I'm not over modulated. Last time I used this headset, I, I was severely over modulated. I do see some traffic out on the horizon. These blue labels that you can hardly see indicate traffic, and I don't have traffic ADS-B receiver on this GPS, so um, so I am gonna have to keep my head on a swivel. So it's a good time to swivel my head, right? Look at the soak up some scenery. So I'm down to 68 on my airspeed, so need to keep an eye on that. So I am going to, well, I've got 1100 to go. They're about on readjust my manifold pressure. That should help me get my speed back up. And let's see how we're doing on that tank. It's amazing how quickly we can burn off fuel out of that tank. So we are down to about 22 gallons or 23 gallons left in that tank. And we're probably burning, if our GPS will give us our fuel burn. Let's see, so let's go here. And let's go to utilities. Let's pop it out so we can see stuff. Fuel planning. And we are burning 28 gallons per hour. So, as you can see, this guy has a lot of torque, has a lot of power, but she drinks some gas. She loves her gas. And we'll soon be leveling off, but we'll still maintain in cruise 20, 30, 20 on the RPM, 30 on the manifold pressure. All right, so we're starting our level off now. So we should pick up some speed. Get in the middle of this bay dead ahead of us, then we will turn on course. Looks like we're turning on course now. Looks like we're turning off course. Let's see. Let's go to nav, turn nav back on, and GPS. So why are we turning off course? Why are we turning off course? Are we still going to Homer? So we should be picking up this magenta line. going to have to turn manually. And let me turn on my yoke so you guys can see how much deflection I'm putting in. Look, I think I'm fighting my autopilot here because I want the magenta line. Let's see, so we should be going to this waypoint, and it's want to track on a heading of about 070, and it should be tracking should be intercepting the course before it turns. So let's see. Let's see. Waypoint. Back. And activate. Okay, so that's activated. Turn our nav back on. I can't see that it's turning back to where it should be. So what that means is that I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's see. Home is a VOR, right? But I don't want to go to home. So let me just, it's my airplane. Just take the airplane. I'm not sure what the GPS is doing. Gallons left in this tank, and look at all this that I'm having to put in manually to stay on course. That can't be right. And I don't understand. Let's see if I got, let me look at my Sky Vector app. And let's look and see. If I can see. Whoa. All right, I'm going in the wrong direction. I want to get out over this bay and follow this bay. So my turn coordinate is pretty much coordinated, but I'm having to put a lot of aileron in. Stay on course. Turbulence there. We're gonna get out over the middle of this bay here. All right, so turn my heading bug and just fly some headings. And that would take a lot of pressure off me. About 17 gallons left. Let's see what the desired track is. The desired track is 026, and I'm currently on 344. So let's turn this to 026, the heading bug. Well, we'll wait a minute. All right, let's go ahead and start turning it. 6. And that puts us right on the magenta line, which is almost where I want to be. Let's say I'm flying 032. So let's swing it back a little bit. Oh, you know what? Look at here. Let's see now. From catch, I should be going to home. Let's see. Let me look at my plan. So I can go straight to home. I don't know what I'm doing. All right. So I'm just wasting a lot. Just wasted a lot of gas, I think. In fact, the flight, let's just go direct to home. Let's see, activate leg. Yeah, let's just activate that leg and go back to nav and see what happens. Map. Now, unless it's gonna do a complete turn, you would have thought it would have turned to the right, but let's just see if it's gonna point me to Homer, to the Homer VOR, and if I can find that VOR station frequency. Pop that in. Be to the west, so let's turn this to the west. I think that, yeah, it just turned the entirely different way than I expected it to. Now see, it should be lining up and tracking. So let's turn it on. All right, this guy over. All right, and let's see if it tracks that nav. All right. So the GPS doesn't seem to be working very well. Maybe we have better luck flying VORs. problem that I'm gonna have is let's read what this guy said. Okay, so my next VOR is gonna be Johnston Mountain, and that may be too far away for me to pick up from Homer. And let's clear some of these airways. That's one thing that's got us that's making it kind of difficult to read where we are and where we headed. All right. So let's get the next waypoint for Johnston. Get that off sky vector. That frequency is 116.7. Actually, I could have did this. 116.7. Click that guy. And let's say now I should be waypoint information 116.7. Pop that in, and once we get to Homer, we are ready, and looks like Johnston is now on standby. Just that simple. Didn't have to go to an outside source. Right. How are we looking on fuel? Okay, so I got about 13 gallons. That's about what, 15 minutes. And let's pull our map back up. And let's see how we're tracking. And we need to track a little bit to the right. All right, look like it's self-adjusting. Okay, yep. So it's doing what it needs to do to get back on track. Because I was about to do that manually. I'm gonna have to still put some manual adjustments in. All right, so let's line our head and bug up. Fly this head for a minute. Let's see what we got. Actually we're passing the Homer now. We were just in the cone of confusion. My bad. All right, so let's get rid of this guy. And let's hop in this guy. Now we are too far from Johnston to pick it up. 154 nautical miles, so looks like that's gonna be on a radio. This is 90, 80, 70, 60, say 66, 67. Let's try 67. So let's dial in 6, hitting a 6067. Come on, back. 067. That's overshooting it. Now I'm showing us track of 078, 077. So let's move this guy back a little. Let's make sure that this is lined up, and we could adjust it a little bit. All right, so 067. So let's try that. Let's get rid of this guy because it can be a little distracting. And let's get over here. And until we can get close enough to that station, how are we on fuel? $10 gallons. So that's probably 10 gallons, maybe just before that mountain ridge. And let's look at our so yeah, we definitely want to try and once we join that course, then we want to try to turn back towards that magenta line, so we keep our eye on that in our scan. Right. See what kind of frames we're getting. I'm counting about 60. So for me, that's pretty good because I'm used to getting averaging between 20 and 28 frames per second. So to get up to about 60, and I've got my eye candy term pretty high for the as a matter of fact. I think I got shadows on. Of course, there's nothing out here to cast shadows except trees, and I'm too high for the trees to cast shadows. I think I got reflections on. Again, too high to really see any reflections. So yeah, I'm good. Oil pressure is in the green. Fuel flow is in the green. Filling ahead. Temp is a little hot. Right. So let's show you why I think it's a little hot, and then we'll make an adjustment. Okay. So actually it's okay. It needs to be it needs to be in the green, and it's just on the tip of red. So I am going to adjust the mixture until I hear the the motor died down, the engine died down just a touch. So I'm leaning it out. And let's let it go there for a little while and see if it goes up or down. Looks like it came down just a tad. Looks like I'm in the green now, so yeah, we'll leave our mixture there, and now we can readjust our manifold. And actually I can't, so I'm gonna have to bring the mixture back in. Get my manifold pressure back up to 30. And that's probably gonna be my best setting for leaning it at this altitude. Service ceiling for this aircraft is only 12,000 feet, so I'm not too far from the service ceiling. Actually, I'm going to give it just a little bit more enrich it just a little bit, and then pull not the RPMs, but the manifold pressure down just a touch. All right. And as you can see, I am way off course now. Not the way I want to go. Now we're looking on fuel. 9 gallons. So if I didn't have the GPS, I would have a hard time flying this staying on course. Because, well, not really. If I didn't have the GPS, then what I would do is just use some good old pilotage and follow the shore easterly. And yeah, that's all I would really need to do is just stay on the shoreline. Let's see if I can back out and might be able to see what I'm talking about. That's the wrong way. So if I didn't have the GPS, then I would be following this shoreline to get to my destination. But because I do have the GPS, then the plan is to go over this mountain range, and hopefully everything will go okay, because there are not a lot of places to land. So I'm going to track a 041 and I desire track a 056. So 04. Trying to make sure 3, yeah. So it's trying to make sure that that I'm pretty much lined up. So I'm flying 050, 049, and I know I desire 056. Flying 050, and yeah, this needs to be adjusted. Now if I put this on 05, all right, so this may do better, may do much better now. Okay. So, fuel. There are a couple different things I can do with fuel. After I can go ahead and drain fuel from my tip tanks back into my front tank, or I think what I want to do is I want to trying to remember the flow. I think I drain my front tanks first, then my tip tanks, then my rear tank, then my middle tank. And I still got fuel in my belly tank, and that actually has to be pumped up until I'm not sure. Can't really recall how to get that fuel from my belly tank to one of my main tanks, and I'm not sure which main tank that fuel goes into. But if it's in the belly, then that means it's got to be pumped. So what I think I'm gonna do is go ahead and open my tip tanks and drain all that fuel out of my tip tanks and refill my mains, my front mains. That sound like a plan to you guys? It works for me. So let's do that. Okay, so let's go up here to this tip tank, and let's turn these on both. should see this tank right here starting to fill back up. Now, I've got to remember that once it's filled, and if there's any additional fuel in the tip tanks, then it's just going to overflow and run out. So I got to keep an eye on my tanks filling up so I don't just dump that fuel out into the ether. So so we're doing really well on our tracking here. Our desired and track is fairly close. Actually, it's almost on the money. Tracking 056 and I desire 056. And I did see it. I thought I saw it change to 055 and then pop back into 056. So, but you know, looking pretty good here. All right. Can get rid of this guy. Get back in the pilot seat. And you can see how my main fuel pump tank quantity is coming up, because I was down to about 6 gallons and now I'm up to 16, and I can actually see it refilling as gravity moves fuel from those tip tanks to the main tank. I still got a ways to go, so like I said, I think I'm gonna need pretty much all of this fuel. That looks like an absolute wasteland below me. That's I think that's glacier. Come above the tree line and got some glacier out there. What's the outside temperature? Let's see if I can find the thermometer. Seeing outside temperature thermometer. I'm gonna certainly have to have one installed. But I got my pitot heat on, so let me just double check, make sure that my pitot heat is on. Master custom turn bank beacon, nav lights, all strobes are on, landing lights, all pitot heat is now on. Glad I did check. 30 on the manifold pressure, and I am a little hot again, just slightly into the red on the cylinder head temp. So I'm gonna make that adjustment back again by leaning out and then adjusting the manifold pressure again. I got the throttle all the way maxed out, so I'm gonna just bring that up to 30 and see if that calms down any. Actually, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna bring the mixture up and bring the manifold pressure down and see what happens. And we'll check it in a few. All right, let's make sure that we ain't dumping fuel. And I think we are, so let's turn this guy off. All right. See, this guy's full again, so any other to have those wing tanks on is just overflowing and dumping fuel out into the ether overboard. Fuel costs too much to do that. So I am going to lean it back and push that back forward and see if my cylinder head temp come down in it. I wonder if I got any flaps here that I can adjust. That might be all I need to do. Carb heat. So that's emergency, that's the wobber, carburetor heat, which I hope I remember when I'm landing. And yeah, I don't see any thing I don't see anything that I can use to bring the cylinder head temp down. I could try raising the RPMs, get a little bit more air in the intake. Let's see if that brings it down. So I'm gonna I'll raise it by to 21. Let's see what that does. Any. Not really. Okay. Okay, maybe we're close enough to pick up that station. Let's check. See? Johnsonville Aura is what we want. And let's see, Johnson is gonna be west. I need to go to. Six, yep, because if I don't do 5-6 and I'm reverse sensing. So, all right. And let's go to CDI and let's go to nav. Let's hope she picks it up and track to it. Now, until she comes in, that's not unusual for her to swing out like that. So I think I'm good. She should swing back in a few. She should. It doesn't necessarily have to be directly on the Magenta line. The Magenta line is a GPS line, so it doesn't necessarily have to follow that same radio to get to Johnston. But what I'm watching this line here, and this, as I fly towards it, this line should move towards the center. And if it moves away from the center, then that's a problem. But it looks like it may be moving towards the center ever so slightly, because I'm starting to see just a touch more of this star. Yep, it's definitely moving towards the center. So yeah, I'm good. Good. So yeah, we'll fly the VOR to the station. It's gonna pick up the 056 radio, which is what it's flying, which is what it's trying to do. See how it's lining up here. There's that. close that window. Yeah, so you can see once it center up, then it should track directly to the station. So it's a good thing. And I move that over just so that you can, so that we can keep an eye on it. I told you this was going to be a long flight. It's tracking back so it doesn't go past. And yep, so we attract the 056 bearing to the station. Or said another way, I think it can be said 056 inbound. And the reciprocal would be 023 roughly outbound. So guys, I'm gonna take a break and I will be monitoring, but yeah, I'm gonna give you guys a break and we will pick this back up in a few as we get closer. One more quick check. Yep. So I'm within 23 nautical miles of Eeks. How far am I from Johnston? Well, from Johnston Point, yeah. So I am getting there. I'm still flying the VirtualGAa, and I'm oscillating pretty wildly from left of the course to the right of the course. And pay no attention. I tell you what, this magenta line doesn't mean anything, so let me readjust it here. So what I'm going to do that is go to do a direct to the flight plan, then direct to, and that should fix that magenta line. All right, go back to my map, and you'll see that that I'm oscillating to the left and to the right. In fact, you can see that on the course indicator, the CDI. So now it's saying, okay, my line is to the left, so I'm gonna fly to the left. But rather than intercepting that line, it's gonna overshoot it, and then it's gonna say, oh, my line is to the right, let me fly to the right. So that's adding both miles and time to my flight. And what I could do is just tell it to fly the GPS at this point. All right, so now I'm centered, and you'll see that it's going to go past the center, and the closer I get to the station, looks like the more it's oscillating. So that's not really a good thing. I tried to fix that manually by stopping it and trying to line it up, but it still tend to want to oscillate off. Maybe if I turn off the nav and turn it back on, maybe that will have it reacquire the station and read the signal a little better. Let's see what happens. So it's flying to the left. And signal's coming in. I mean, the CDIs is moving to the right. Is it? Not quite yet. Okay, now I'm flying to the right, so it should start to move to the center. I'm now flying to the left, so now it should start moving towards the center. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn nav off and acquire it manually. 14 nautical miles out. All right, so let me turn back on course now. Line that needle up with that diamond in the center. That magenta line is in my peripheral vision, so I want to fly to that magenta line rather than flying to that white line. All right, so try not. Actually, if I get rid of this, then I won't have that to worry about trying to fly to that magenta line. All right. So now it's lined up. Boat down there? Believe so. So oil rig, an oil well, something, I'm not sure. Line seemed to got off really quickly. All right. let it take over. Okay, so what I need to know now is what my next station is after Homer. So, I mean Johnston, and then that's going to be Yak, which is my destination. And let's go to, let's look it up here. Actually, I keep forgetting I don't have to go out. I don't have to go out. I can stay in this guy and get it. Yes, but you see how it's oscillating as much as 90 degrees off, which I'm afraid that as I get closer, it may start to oscillating, you know, 100, 120 degrees off. Actually, leave the station before it turn back to it. Anyway, we'll see. All right, so flight plan is what I'm looking for. Flight plan. Yak is what I'm looking for. Yak. And waypoint info. So 113.3 is what we want. So let's go ahead and turn to 113.3 now. Let's see how far are we from it. Move in so I can read. 113, so it looks like we are 0.6 nautical miles. Wow, we're right on top of it. Are we? Let's see. No, we're not, because we're here. That's there, so we're not. Paya is the next. Okay, we right on top of Paya. Papa Alpha Yankee Alpha, what we on top of. But this frequency here is not even coming in yet. So we looks like we're gonna need to fly roughly. This is 90. And 100, 120. 90, 120, 140, 180. So roughly 120 once we get to Paya, Yak. Okay, so we're gonna set a heading bug for 120 for a heading of 120. See how far we've deflecting away from the station now? So that's just way too far. And so let's see if we can see where we are. Point our nose towards this airport. Let's go back. Get our map, and see how our nose is pointed way off. Yeah, so that's not good. there's our airport, I think. Is that it? Get rid of this guy. Alright. And let's see. Oh, shoot. Maybe that's it. It's buried. It's down here somewhere. All right. So doing this turn so I can see over that column. Airport's down there somewhere, right? Nice reflections. All right, let's see. Now I'm seeing 25 nautical miles from something. Okay, we've already passed Johnson. Okay, so the airport is to our rear. So let's go ahead and fly that heading, that 120 heading. So let's go ahead and so we're supposed to be turning to a 120 heading, right? And it just blew past my heading. And autopilot's just not really working. Yeah, the autopilot's just not really working. So I tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna find PAKA and land there. We're gonna turn around and go back and land. All right, so my airplane. All right. Let's see. Okay. Where's the airport? There's Johnston. Should be right near the field. Yeah, because we getting. See, now we're flying west, so we're flying back to it. I think we're flying back to it. All right, let's see. Yeah, charts, most. All right, so. Alright, so we're gonna do direct to nearest airport, PAKA. Activate, there we go. Are we 23 nautical miles from it? I wonder if we're couldn't see it. And let's look for the next. All right, so let's see what we can find out about this airport. GPS. So that's just on the other side of this sound. But it's still 20 nautical miles away. All right, and let's do nav. Manifold pressure needs to come up. Cylinder head temp look good. So, get some waypoint information for that airport that I'm headed to, right? So let's do it this way. PAKA, and don't see it. It's not in my route. So all right. So I'm gonna have to go to. Let's try going to the nearest airport. 16 nautical miles out. Airport. All right, that's what I want. Frequency. ASOS. Go ahead and get that. When calm, I did hear that, but I can't hear a thing. Wait. Let's see. Audio, radio. All right. Elevation is 62 feet, and we got 13 and 31. Winds calm. So we're coming in from the south, so we'll make straight in for 3-1. All right. All right, so we need to get down a lot quicker. And I need the frequency. Shoot back. Nearest airport. PAKA frequency. Multicon is 0.7. Flip that in. All right. And this is Tatitlek traffic. Beaver, Blue Beaver is inbound from the south, straight in for runway 31, Tatitlek. Or call, so where we are, back, map, and Tatitlek traffic. Beaver is 10 miles to the south, straight in, runway 31. Tatitlek. All right, so 10 miles. Decided to do a kamikaze dive. 1,000 feet a minute. And 8 miles. Eyes on the. Okay, there's the airport. All right, it's my airplane. 62 feet is pattern. Little flaps, landing lights can come on. Seven miles up. Put eyeballs on the runway again. There it is. On the base. Tatitlek traffic. Beaver is 6 miles. Runway 6 on a 6-mile final. Runway 31. Tatitlek. Another call on a 3-mile final. And we'll stay here overnight. Didn't quite make it to uh, Yada Yatatak or whatever, whatever airport that is. But hey, you know that's the thing about flying. You know, you do what's safe, not what. Since I'm tired, then safe thing to do is to find somewhere to land and live to fly another day. 90 miles, knots, I mean. And I am too far back. I can't see everything. All right, glumps, gas, lights. Let's see, I said gas. What I do for gas? All right, I'm on my rear tank, and I'm gonna switch to my front tank. Gas, lights, undercarriage fix, mixture for rich, prop for forward. Yellow light traffic. Beaver is on a 3-mile final, runway 31, yellow light. And let me turn on my yoke. Happy. So, oh, eyeball here. So we know our airport elevation is 62 feet. We're at 300 feet. Happens every time, that daggone ground loop. I just knew I wasn't gonna loop at that time, but I'ma blame it on, it ain't my fault. Them pause. It did pause, but still, gotta blame it on something. That was a bad landing. I have to remember that the aircraft is a lot higher up than I think. Cause see this attitude. I'm thinking that I still got some more descending to do, and I didn't transition my eyes to the end of the runway. Anyway, that was a terrible landing. I can't make any excuses for that. But my sim is hanging. And quite frankly, I didn't have all my flaps in either. All right, so park right here. All right, flaps up, lights, strobe lights off, landing lights off, nav lights off, and lean. All right. And then turn those guys off. All right. So let's look at that landing. I'm ashamed of it, actually. I'm purely ashamed of this landing, but I don't need all that nose down attitude to land a Beaver. That was another mistake. But I really didn't realize I was as close to the runway as I was. I didn't have a wing strap, strike, or tail strike strap. Anyway. Loud! Who can hear me? At least I didn't have a wing strike, strike, or a tail strike, or a prop strike. Okay. Loud! All right. So that's it for this flight, guys. It's been a long one, and so that's what happens when you fly low and slow, right? All right, guys. Until next time.
Y'all come back now. Cheers.